In the dead of night, thousands of elite U.S. soldiers suddenly descended upon Mexico's most notorious criminal stronghold. But what truly awaited them inside the steel fortress? A lightning victory or a bloody nightmare? In the coastal fog of Mexico, at exactly 4:12 a.m., over 3,000 elite U.S. soldiers closed the circle. This was not just a military operation, it was a life-or-death clash between justice and darkness, between cutting-edge war technology and a notorious criminal army. But the question remains, what could pierce underground tunnels, human shields, and massive firepower that had crushed every campaign before? And how could a battlefield raging for years be decided in just 3 hours? The answer is about to be revealed. Don't look away. In the salty darkness of the Sinaloa coast, the final encrypted signal from the Pentagon was transmitted. Offshore, the U.S. Navy received orders to unleash firepower in an operation generals called unprecedented in the history of fighting organized crime. A new era was about to begin. Over 3,000 elite troops from the SEALs, Marines, Army, and Naval Intelligence moved into position. Backed by Arleigh Burke destroyers, M109A7 Paladin howitzers, and MQ-20 Avenger UAVs with near-perfect AI target recognition, every detail was set. The target was no ordinary barracks or base, but the very heart of the Sinaloa Empire, a criminal fortress hidden deep in the coastal jungle. With bunkers, secret tunnels, and 2,500 heavily armed fighters, it was a battlefield of death. Sinaloa was no longer just a cartel. It had become a shadow state, with its own laws, secret taxes, and networks of drugs, weapons, and human trafficking stretching from the Americas to Europe and Asia. For years, it was an absolute no-go zone where every attack had ended in disaster. Mexican police dared not step foot there. The DEA had failed multiple times, and international journalists either vanished or returned in coffins. But everything changed when 4 American citizens were kidnapped in Mazatlan, and satellites confirmed they were taken into the command bunker. Washington had no choice left. A classified DEA report revealed the facility produced and exported tons of fentanyl and heroin every month, enough to kill hundreds of thousands. Washington no longer saw it as a criminal case, but a strategic threat. The Sinaloa Cartel would now be treated as a hostile armed force. The operation order was signed by the president inside the White House Situation Room. The mission ended within 180 minutes. Rescue the hostages, kill or capture the entire leadership, destroy the infrastructure, and ensure 0 civilian casualties. Every detail lit up on the augmented reality screens aboard USS Baton. Each tunnel mapped in 3D, each hostage's heartbeat tracked. Offshore, engines roared, howitzers locked coordinates, helicopter blades sliced the night air. The soldiers knew at exactly 03:30 all firepower would erupt with surgical precision, cold, merciless, like open-heart surgery. But this time, the heart to be saved was the lives of hundreds of innocent hostages, and the empire to be dismantled was a criminal fortress once thought untouchable. Over the past 3 years, Sinaloa had transformed into a paramilitary force with layered defenses and deadly asymmetric tactics. From 2022 to early 2025, at least 5 major operations by the DEA, U.S. Special Forces, and Mexican units had failed. The most infamous was Desert Fang, when SEAL Team 4 and Mexican commandos stormed a fentanyl depot, only to face a ferocious cartel counterattack within 12 minutes that forced them to retreat. In 2023, the failure of Operation Iron Veil was even more devastating. U.S. forces raided the Mazatlan underground complex, only to be met with an E-DAS caliber machine gun fire and directional mines. 3 U.S. operators were killed, 7 wounded. The CIA later confirmed the leadership had evacuated 48 hours earlier, likely tipped off. The cartel proved its absolute edge in intelligence. The bitter truth became clear. Sinaloa leveraged treacherous terrain, a shadow spy network, and community control to dominate. They turned entire coastal towns into buffer zones, building schools and hospitals to mask weapon stockpiles, ensuring every attack risked civilian bloodshed. Even U.S. technology was consistently neutralized. Advanced reconnaissance UAVs were jammed by smuggled Eastern European equipment, while jungle canopies and humidity distorted infrared signals. During Operation Black Reef in late 2024, every UAV lost contact within 20 minutes, forcing infantry to retreat. The cartel had become masters of countертech. Their brutality made it worse. In March 2024, 19 bodies were hung at a village gate with a message: "Anyone who cooperates will die." Fear strangled communities, but by May 2025, the tide shifted when CIA assets confirmed 4 American citizens were imprisoned inside the command bunker. Satellite thermal signals confirmed the 4 hostages were held just 50 meters from the command room. The risk of relocation forced Washington to act immediately. The National Security Council convened an emergency session, while the Pentagon deployed Avenger UAVs and Sentinel satellites to build a full 3D map of the area. The plan, code-named Scalpel War, was drafted. Its objective, absolute precision, crippling the cartel's lifeline without civilian casualties. For 2 weeks, Special Forces trained on a 1-1 replica of the tunnels and coastal jungle, coordinating air, ground, and naval firepower from the USS Bataan Command Center. At dawn on June 14th, the clock aboard USS Bataan struck 03:00. 12 MQ-20 UAVs tore through the clouds, carrying GBU-69B guided bombs. Within 40 seconds, the cartel's comm station, early warning radar, and 3 ammo depots erupted in flawless precision strikes. The opening blow shattered their defenses from the very first minute. Instantly, Tomahawk Block V missiles from USS Hopper and USSM Fall rained down, obliterating air defenses, armored convoys, and coastal supply lines. Before the enemy could react, their outer defenses were erased. At exactly 03:15, the second assault wave began, steel and fire advancing as one. Three LCA hovercrafts stormed the southern shore, unleashing Stryker armored vehicles and Abrams M1A2 tanks. Blazing M830A1 armor-piercing rounds ripped open the outer defenses within minutes. Meanwhile, Special Forces struck from the north, severing escape routes and sealing every exit. To the west, CRRC assault boats carried Javelin teams, ready to torch any armor breaking through the cordon. At the same time, the eastern sky lit up. 4 MH-60 Nighthawks dove down, deploying SEAL teams right beside the command bunker. The battle had only just truly begun. SEAL teams neutralized guard posts and cameras in just 90 seconds. Heavy machine gun bursts and directional mines roared, but U.S. troops countered with stun grenades and next-gen night vision to crush resistance. By 03:45, a SEAL unit reached the detention chamber. A 10-centimeter steel door blew apart. Hostages were checked and fitted with trackers. The first group, 12 people, including 2 Americans, was extracted through a side tunnel straight to waiting helicopters. But the counterattack erupted. Cartel gunners set up 12.7mm nests and laced the central market with mines. U.S. Marines swept block by block, street by street. Javelin missiles slammed directly into resistance points, while M109A7 Paladin howitzers on the perimeter rained M982 Excalibur guided rounds, erasing gun nests without harming civilians. To the north, Special Forces spotted a cartel convoy attempting a breakout. Instantly, Avenger UAVs launched 2 Hellfires, turning vehicles to ash. Meanwhile, the final SEAL team freed the remaining hostages, including 2 children. All were extracted to safety. The cartel's command system was nearly paralyzed. Radios jammed, supply lines severed. Remnants fled west, only to be hunted by drones. Their escape route transformed into a hellscape of fire and steel. At exactly 05:20, coalition forces had completely cleared the 3-kilometer zone around the command bunker. Every resistance nest was destroyed or had surrendered. Combat engineers rigged explosives, demolishing the weapons caches, fentanyl labs, and chemical bunkers. Flames roared as black smoke blanketed Sinaloa's skies. The Empire's end. On USS Bataan, AR screens turned green, signaling full security. All hostages evacuated safely, with 0 civilian or U.S. casualties. Right on schedule, U.S. forces withdrew, leaving behind a once impregnable fortress reduced to ashes. The final encrypted code was sent back to the Pentagon. In just 180 minutes, from the first shot fired to the last helicopter lifting off, the power center of the world's most dangerous cartel was crushed. Fire and smoke still rose over Mexico's coast, declaring the fall of an empire once thought invincible. America's message was unmistakable. Pentagon reports confirmed 2,537 Sinaloa fighters killed, 714 captured. including the entire command staff and 7 internationally wanted fugitives. A total of 104 facilities, weapon depots, fentanyl labs, heroin plants, and cash bunkers were destroyed. 43 hostages were rescued safely, treated aboard the USS Bataan Field Hospital. Third, absolute fire discipline. From Abrams tanks to Paladin howitzers, all weapons auto-locked the moment civilians entered the fire zone, eliminating the risk of friendly casualties, something never achieved before. The operation proved that overwhelming firepower and disciplined combat could coexist perfectly. For the cartel, it was a strategic hammer blow. With leadership, command centers, arsenals, and finances lost, their morale collapsed. Data seized from hard drives, documents, and comms gear would help U.S. forces dismantle Sinaloa branches across America, Central America, and Europe in the days to follow. Just 48 hours after the operation, numerous plazas and drug transit hubs were abandoned or seized by rival gangs, costing Sinaloa hundreds of millions in lost revenue. In Colombia, Peru, and Africa, partner groups rushed to destroy stockpiles and halt shipments to avoid becoming America's next target. In Europe, a smuggling branch in Spain dissolved overnight, its members fleeing to South America within days. Fear spread like wildfire. Cartels now understood the U.S. was willing to unleash war-level firepower to protect its citizens and crush any transnational network. The 3-hour battle turned the border into a real battlefield. 2,500 American soldiers faced a cartel armed as a battalion. By morning, the entire assault force was wiped out. The Battle of Eagle Pass ushered in a new era for the concept of modern border security. Soon after, smoke and dust covered southern Texas. 3 strange objects streaked across the Rio Grande, exploding in just 14 seconds. The logistics area was devastated. 11 American soldiers were killed. Bravo 4 was caught in the flames. Communications cut off. This was not an intelligence failure, but the beginning of a war. From El Paso, 400 Special Forces prepared CH-47 and Black Hawk helicopters, ready to rescue Bravo 4 to eliminate the CJNG commander. The Texas sky shook as 6 AH-64E Apaches took off, each carrying 16 Hellfires. On the ground, the armored column split into 3 groups, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, gradually tightening its grip. At that time, CJNG did not know it was surrounded. At the command center, each gun, radar, and UAV position had target coordinates. On the digital line, experts detected fake signals of the U.S. military, but multi-layered decoding technology quickly exposed the trick. The airstrike was ready. Thank you for watching. The Battle of Sinaloa was only the beginning. Any force that dares challenge America will face unstoppable power. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next story.